So, hi everyone. My name is Ramandeep, and I'm part of the UK Youth for Nature team. And today we're joined by James Cutting, and we're going to be discussing all about the healing power of nature. So, James, I'm so excited for you to be here today. Why don't you begin by introducing yourself to everyone?
Thank you very much indeed. So, hi, I am James Cutting. First and foremost, I'm a conservationist. I'm also a speaker, tour leader, and a passionate advocate for nature's benefits on our mental and our physical well-being.
Is there any specific reason why you really care about the topic of
So,
mental health and nature?
sure. So, with mental health, I in 2011 had what I will deem a mental health crisis. I hit the very bottom, and I will be quite honest and say that I didn't really want to be around anymore. But with the help of friends and family, but particularly nature, that became my kind of my, if you like, my recovery from that episode. Very fortunate to be here with thanks to friends and family, but having nature around me gave me such a focus outside of anything else that was going on. It quietened all the noises and all that sort of thing, and allowed me to recover and get back to myself, back to my healthy self.
So, is there a specific moment you think that led you to, like, I guess, connecting with nature again, or is it just been like a journey throughout?
So I think it's not. Well, there was one particular moment. So on one particular day, I was on a waiting list for some talking therapy. I'd been given some tablets to take to help my mental health, and I needed something else that rather than sitting in the house and just kind of ruminating in my own thoughts, if you like. I needed something else to focus on. And when I was a kid, my godfather had got me into birding, and I thought, okay, let's give this a go. Let's get outside. I found my old binoculars, and well, I didn't know what you did with any of this sort of thing. So I walked out with my little bird guide, and I remember someone saying, you shouldn't have your bird guide with you. So it got hidden in my pocket. My binoculars got stuffed down my top, so they were hidden too. No one's going to see me birding, sort of thing. And I went to the only place I knew that there were birds, essentially. Not that these days I think that you have to go anywhere for that. But for me, I went to Farlington Marshes, which is a place just outside of Portsmouth, big salt marsh and grazing marsh. And I walked out onto the marsh, and the noise, it was April, and the noise was absolutely deafening. It was about 6 o'clock in the morning. I couldn't have picked a robin from a blue tit if you'd paid me to at that point. But this little bird jumped up on the front of a hawthorn. And I sat there watching this bird, little white throat quivering, and the steam. You know that stereotypical image, the steam coming out of this bird, little scratchy song. And I sat there and I pulled out my binoculars and had a sneaky little look. Pulled out my little book, and no, it's still. And it took me probably 15 minutes to decide that this bird was a common white throat. And at that point, when I realised, I put my binoculars down, the bird flew off, and I realised for 15, 20 minutes, I've been stood there with nothing else in my brain, nothing other than me and this bird and the things around me. And that had silenced absolutely everything other than me staying in that moment to enjoy that bird. And it was there that I realized, hang on a minute, this has been, and I'm not afraid to say, I'm long enough in the tooth to say I stood there and I cried out of happiness that, hang on a minute, I feel myself again for the first time in a very, very long time.
Well, that's amazing, and yeah, really touching that you're sharing that with us. Yeah, I think a lot of us can probably relate to, like, yeah, that real power that nature can have, and you just can't explain it, but you just feel it so deeply.
Absolutely.
Um, so I guess we both love birds, but maybe there might be a few people that listen to this that have never really done bird watching before, or they're like you or like I've been where you're first starting out. So maybe do you have any specific advice you would give to someone when they're first starting?
Don't be afraid to ask for help. Most birders are fairly friendly. There are some out there, obviously, in every walk of life, there are going to be those that are dismissive and things like that. The majority of the nature community really isn't like that. Don't be afraid to ask for help. There's amazing things out there. I know people are dismissive of Merlin, the the sound recognition AI app from eBird, but it's absolutely superb. Even now, I use it after birding for years and years and years. If there's something I don't quite recognise, or I think I know what it is, but I'll get Merlin out and check it. And if it corresponds with what, it's a great way to learn birdsong. But you can get apps to identify birds. You can get all these. Use it. Technology's our friend, but as long as you're getting out there and you're birding, absolutely brilliant. And have a little bit of humility too. If someone says to you, "No, that's not what it is," don't argue with them necessarily. Just ask why, because then you learn, everyone learns together. I think there's so much hostility between people. We're a great community. We can teach each other so much, but I think there's so much ego involved in some of this that people don't sit back and go, okay, I'll accept I'm wrong, but why am I wrong? And at that point, that opens up such a fantastic learning opportunity.
Wow, amazing. Maybe we can move on to there's so much to talk about, but maybe like how do you think modern life and like social media maybe impacts your mental health and well-being? Like for me, I find it crazy because we connected over social media, so this conversation wouldn't be happening over social media, but I know it's often debated and there's often lots of positive and negatives. Maybe if there's anything specific from your experience you want to share or talk about.
Sure. So, a fact figure that I use in one of my talks is that 90% of our lives in the modern world, perhaps the nature community is the 10% outside of this, but 90% of our lives are spent inside. Be that in a car, in an office, in your bedroom, behind a screen, whatever it is, 90% of our lives are spent inside. That's not good. Evolutionary speaking, we are meant to be outside. We are meant to be doing things. We're meant to be active. We are so deeply connected, instinctually connected to the natural world. And that 90% spent inside has to have a massive impact on modern mental health. Not then withstanding the work pressures, the expectations on life, on jobs, on money, on cost of living at the moment, and then the horrific wars and conflicts and everything that go on around the world. All of that is absolutely crushing for our mental and physical health. And if our minds aren't healthy, our bodies aren't healthy. I think mental health is massively affected by social media, both for positive and for negative. There is research to suggest that watching nature, even through a screen, can have a positive impact on our mental health. But at the same time, the amount of time we spend on them doom scrolling or uh, interacting with other people rather than actually interacting with people face to face destroys quite a few communication methods, confidence as well when you're in a face to face situation. I think realistically, it can be a force for very good and a source for very, very bad. And I think the younger generation, realistically, we need to be getting them off the screens, off of social media, and outside. And if they want to use their phones, let's use it for good. Like I said, some of these apps that can get them into nature are absolutely fantastic, and we should be leaning into that skid.
Amazing. So I guess adding on to that, are there any other apps that you would recommend? Or I know you do a lot of like storytelling and like content creation, I guess, with your platform. So I guess maybe if moving on from trying to use technology, I guess, for good, because I'm quite a positive person. So obviously we need to acknowledge all the
Yeah.
negatives, but yeah, we want to try and keep things hopeful. So I guess if you've got any specific insights or advice you would share.
I think I try, like the same as you. I'm quite a positive person when it comes to this, and we can get so bogged down in those negatives. But I think realistically, Instagram and TikTok and all those things can be a fantastic force for good. And I try and use my platform to deliver some of these facts and figures to encourage people to get outside. And there's so much. We might be a nature depleted country, but there's still so much that we can get out and see, and it's so worth saving. And the more people, I think, to be able to save something, for someone to want to save something, they have to love it first. So I think the more people can get on there and really enthuse about nature And it's not just birds. For me, it's absolutely everything. I started with birds, and that is a big overarching passion. But it's everything from the smallest microbe to the biggest elephant, whale, whatever you want to look at. Um, and I think social media has a massive part still to play in this, in delivering a really decent outcome for nature and for the environment moving forward.
Amazing. And yeah, there's definitely so many incredible content that you can engage with, and that, as you say, but also that can inspire you to explore more outside. So
Yeah, it definitely does for me. And I mean, there's been things that I've seen on Instagram, things over the years, people I've connected with even, that I've then sat there and thought, yeah, you know what? Why am I thinking like that? I should be thinking like them. This is a really good, or this is something I really want to go and see, or this is something I can do at home. Little changes we can make in our lives that can make such a difference to sustainability, to conservation, to all of those amazing initiatives.
incredible. So I guess my next question, there's so many questions I have, but I guess my next question would be, I know you use a lot of your platforms, as I said, to educate on nature and environment and different wildlife, but you've now started also sharing about like mental health.
Mhm.
So I guess, is there any specific kind of messages you try and share? And then also, I know I also try and share about mental health, but there's still quite a stigma linked to mental health. So I guess, is there any specific ways we can try and help challenge that stigma so more people can feel comfortable talking about it?
Sure. So I think again, let's look at the positives. Yes, there is a stigma around it, but attitudes are absolutely changing. I did a talk to an RSPB group that was predominantly over 60s a few weeks ago, and I walked into there thinking, you know what, the attitudes I've had off of an older generation tend to be like, no, we never had this when we were younger. Mental health problems didn't exist. We just got on with it, kind of thing. So I was expecting that kind of reaction to it, and it was one of the most engaging talks I've ever had, because people want to understand. People genuinely, yeah, fine, they might not have had understanding of it years ago, but ultimately they realize that that is a thing, and they realize that in their lives they've struggled with things. And the more we talk about it, that is the key to it. The more we talk about it and normalize it, the more the stigma will go. um, I live by the mantra, be kind. Hence the t-shirts, be kind, watch birds. uh, Simply because you never know what someone else is going through. You could walk down the road. So the happiest people are quite often the ones that have the deepest demons. And your small gesture of kindness could be the difference between making their day or ruining it. So I think, if in a world full of all these absolute horrific monstrosities that we know are going on, you can choose to be anything. But there's one thing you should always be, no matter what, and that's be kind. And I think that's some that's my mantra. That's always what I would live by. Because I don't think it takes any real effort on your behalf. I think it takes more effort to be a nasty person than be a genuinely good person.
Amazing, and such a beautiful message again. Is there a specific reason why that is your mantra, or has it always been? And
I
I
think,
guess,
sorry, go on.
yeah, carry on. I was just going to say, I don't know if you've got any other examples of how we can spread kindness, I guess, because obviously there's so many ways, but it'd be lovely to know. Is there
Yeah.
specific ones that you like to do or that you've seen that really touched you?
So we'll start with the why. Why is it my message? I think for me, there's two reasons: to be kind and watch, and it's interchangeable with be kind, watch birds, be kind, watch nature, be kind, watch flowers, whatever you want to have on there. The watch so and so was because back in school, particularly, I was bullied something chronic for my love of nature. Again, from a slightly different time. These days, it's become so much more normalised. Everyone's talked about it. It's not just something for when I was younger, birds and butterflies and flowers and things. Oh, only girls do that sort of thing. And a boy liking that sort of thing was, what's going on? Which is absolutely ridiculous, because it's for everyone. It's such a lush community that pulls in everyone from every walk of life. It is completely non-binary, and that's what I love about nature, and that's what it should be. And so the watch birds or the watch nature and things, is a throwback to me being told years ago, you shouldn't be doing that. And the be kind is because of the bullying side of things. People just weren't. Um, I had binoculars smashed. I had books ripped up. I was called names. I was physically attacked. All these ridiculous things. Um, and it took one thing from one person to make my day of just, all right, James, how you doing? Genuinely, or someone picking my stuff up for me and arm around me and just being that little gesture made all the difference to me. So essentially, it's a bit of a, yeah, be kind because you never know what someone's going through, and the bottom part is a bit of a two fingers to the people that used to put me down for exactly that. Um, so yeah, that's that side of it. Um, I must admit, I've forgotten the second part of your question.
It was just, yeah, I think you've kind of already covered it. Like, have there been any specific moments of kindness that have really touched you, or ones that you like to do
So,
um,
in
in your day
terms
to
of
day?
yeah, so in terms of specific acts of kindness, there's a particular guy that birds on a place right by me. That he's a lovely, lovely guy. And during COVID, I was really feeling the pinch. Really, I worked for a bank at the time, and I was working more than I'd ever worked in my life. And I got down there for my daily exercise, which was wandering around with my binoculars round the outside of the sea wall, watching the birds, get on my bike, go home again. Well, this guy came and met me every single day because he knew I liked birds, and he taught me so much. He gave up his time for me. He would always stay 2 meters away from me. We'd always socially distance, and he would then point out things to me, sounds. He'd point out the birds. He'd right, James, have you seen this? Have you seen? And it just made such a difference to me. It was a person to talk to in the evenings, but it was also such a brilliant way to learn birding from someone that's just given up their time. And that's something I try and do now. Is if I've seen something really interesting, I'll go and if there's someone walking past, guys, have you seen this? It's in my telescope. If you want to see it, do you want to borrow my binoculars? We've done it with dolphins on the beach as they've gone past. Got a family that have never ever seen birds and whales and dolphins and things as something to watch. They've known about them. They've been on TV and things, but us sitting there and going, guys, come and have a look down this scope. Look at these, and it's bottlenose dolphins going past. And as they're walking away, you can hear the excitement. You can almost feel the energy from them. And if that changes someone's day, if it changes their outlook, if it gets them to love nature even more as well, I think you've got like a little 360 package there. You've made someone's day. They're now invested in nature, and if they're later down the line, you never know, they might sign up to Orca or something like that to give back into the conservation society.
Well, that's, yeah, so incredible. I think, yeah, just making it, is it tangible, that life changing experience. I think,
I think
yeah,
making
say
it
you, yeah,
accessibility is a massive thing to people.
and yeah, it's just, yeah, so incredible to hear you talking about the stories. Like, they're just, yeah, they're just amazing, and you're such a great storyteller.
Thank you.
Like, yeah, so it's just, yeah, it's making me so happy just to hear all these incredible stories.
Thank you very much. I appreciate
Um,
it.
but yeah, I guess I'd first say I'm sorry that you went through the bullying that you went to. Like, I've also been bullied, so I know how tough it can be. And but it's, yeah, amazing, and it's true power to you to show that you're choosing to choose the path of kindness, instead of, yeah, the hurt that they caused. Maybe I guess we could talk about. I know a lot of people feel like quite a lot of pressure or like anxiety when they're first putting themselves out there, or sharing that they, I guess a lot of young people also, like, they feel a bit afraid to share that they love nature. So I guess, was there a specific way that helped you shift, I guess, from not having that fear anymore? Or I know also, as you say, because your page is quite public, you might still sometimes feel a bit of pressure or
Oh, without a
stress.
doubt.
So is
I
there
think
any ways that you manage that?
taking breaks, going out into nature. Um, Genuinely, that's how I manage everything. It might sound like I'm running away from a situation, but if I'm particularly stressed, Farlington Marshes, I've mentioned a couple of times, is my home patch, and I've read a brilliant book by Robert McFarlane recently about the idea of place and homecoming and things like that. Well, that place is where I am. It's where I'll go back to at the end of things. It's where I go to when I'm happy, when I'm sad, when I'm depressed, when I'm anxious. It's that place where I feel most at home outside of my house. And I know I can walk out there, the judgment is gone. There's no expectation whatsoever on me. And that's the amazing thing about nature is nature expects nothing from us. Yet it gives us so much. And that is just one of the most powerful realizations for me, that I can go out there and there is no expectation. If I turn left, no one's going to go, no, I want to go this way. If I want to go and sit for an hour and just stare at a wave, I can do that. And I think the other really powerful thing about nature is especially birds as well, it comes to us. We're so caught up in the idea that we have to go somewhere for nature. If I open my back door, whether I'm in a high rise in Streatham or a country manor in Oxfordshire, if I look up, there's going to be birds. It's not going to be necessarily a peregrine falcon or a golden eagle or any one of these great big charismatic birds, but you sit and watch a flock of feral pigeons. They are incredible. The colours, the community, the little arguments in between them all, fighting for food. That survival. The reason there are so many feral pigeons is they are incredible survivors, and they're doing something right to survive. So they are as worthy of your time and your interest as a golden eagle or a peregrine falcon, in my opinion. It's still nature. We still can get so much from it. Um, so I think for those just starting out, it's very easy for me to say, get yourself out there. But just remember, you've got nature on your side. So if something starts to feel pressure, then move away for it for a little bit. Take a break. Remember why you're doing it. It's very odd for me still now to sit in an interview. I find that very strange. I have verbal diarrhea when I do these things, just purely because I'm excited about what I'm talking about. But before I do it, I performed in bands for years. I've been all around the world playing in bands, and still, when I go on stage now, I get that little flutter in my stomach and things. I think fear is a good thing, as long as you don't let it own you. And there's a ridiculous phrase that someone used once in a training session when I was working at the bank, and it's everything you've ever wanted is on the other side of fear. And you know what? It is so cheesy, but it's right.
No, definitely. I also really love, like, mantras and affirmations. Sometimes the most cheesy ones, as you say, stick with you because they're so true. But yeah, that's amazing that you have like that place that you can go to whatever you're feeling and help you with processing all your emotions. So I guess moving on from that, obviously, the main focus of this conversation is about how nature can really help you with your mental and physical health. But are there any other things that you try and do, maybe like day to day or through your, like, I know you're all very busy, so I guess throughout your daily routines that also help you with managing your mental health? I'm just
Yeah.
thinking, like, a lot of people are very busy and like they might want to go into nature more, but it might only be like in an evening or on a weekend. So I guess maybe there's anything you specifically do when you
So,
can't
yeah,
go
sure. I mean,
outside.
I think realistically, in my one of my talks, I challenge people a 7 day nature challenge, and it kind of blows people's mind in as much as you'll sit there and you'll say that actually the benefits you can get from nature are available within 10 minutes of being outside. And it doesn't have to be going out into nature. As I said, it can be as simple as sitting with a cup of tea outside your back door and watching the clouds go past. We forget nature isn't just animals and plants, it's everything that encompasses it, the entire world. So if you're sitting there and you're watching just these clouds moving past and you focus on the clouds, it takes your mind away from where you are. It's just simple little mindfulness things like that. Get your cup of tea, pull up your office chair and just watch from your office door or something. Like, go and stand in the car park for 10 minutes, listen to the wind going through the trees. Really simple things like that, but it's 10 minutes and your body displays marked, genuinely recordable reductions in stress hormones, in blood pressure, in heart rate, in breathing rate. That's all it takes, 10 minutes, and do it for 7 days and see how you feel. That's always my challenge. Do 7 days with 10 minutes a day. Um, but things like meditation, I always find really, really beneficial to me, especially getting to sleep at the end of the day. If your brain's really busy and things like that, take 10 minutes to just sit, even if it's just a breathing thing, like some box breathing, or you can sit there and you can um, close your eyes and you imagine you're feeling your entire body and how your body feels. To start at your toes and work all the way up to your head. I do that before I go to bed. So how does the duvet feel on your toes? How does it feel? And you work right the way up. How does the air feel going into your lungs? So you're just focusing purely on your body. And 9 times out of 10, I'm asleep by the time I get to my chest. Um, so fine. There's a couple of books out there, which off the top of my head I can't really remember, but basically type into to go into your local bookshop. I'm going to say local bookshop. Don't type into anything else. Go into your local bookshop and ask for a book on how to meditate. And there's some really simple techniques in there, and find something that works for you. I could sit here and wax lyrical about what works for me, but that's going to be different to everyone. But ultimately, I think just being able to see the green trees, the grass, the sky is enough for just 10 minutes a day. I think everyone, if they were honest with themselves, could find 10 minutes a day. We waste so much time doing other things. Put your phone down, stop doom scrolling for 10 minutes, and just stand outside. Just the sound of even if it's raining, the sound of the rain falling on the ground is so restorative. It's amazing.
Amazing. Yeah, I could definitely relate to that. I love the sound of rain. Like it's just it's so calming. And even as you say, you could just open your window and just stare at the rain for a while. We sound completely bonkers, but it helps.
Just like the different sounds as well. These things, you sit there and listen to different sounds. How far away is it? How close is it? Is it moving? You can do that with rain. Is there a metallic sound? What's the metallic sound likely to be coming? It could be a pot sitting outside someone's house. It could be the top of a. All these things are taking your brain away. The whole point is that it's moving your brain away from that tax return, from that interview, from that exam, from that homework. Take you away for 10 minutes. After that, you come back, you feel so much better. And you'll find that it's part of attention restoration theory. It helps you restore your attention to other things as well.
Well, I didn't know it had a name. Now I do. I knew it helped, but I never knew there was proper terminology for it. They say it's a whole other area that I'm still
Oh,
learning about. So
there is a rabbit hole to go down with the actual science behind mental health and birding, and I've only started to scratch the surface, and that's because I'm doing some talks on it and things like that. Um, but it's such a fascinating thing, and there's so much online that you can read about the benefits of mental health on nature. It is genuinely scientifically proven, um, and with I think it's 22% of the population suffer from a mental health disorder. 1 in 6, 1 in 5, 1 in 6, around that figure, suffer from a mental health disorder within their life. So it's huge, and this is available out there. And they did some calculations, and I can't even remember what it was, but it saves the NHS millions and millions of pounds just going out into a woodland. Um,
wow,
just it takes a simple Google search, and you'll find all this info. Absolutely amazing. I've just found it.
amazing.
I've got some bits open in front of me. £185 million per year in treatment costs. The is the saving if we're putting economic savings onto some, and that's UK woodlands. UK woodlands are estimated to save the NHS around £185 million per year in mental health treatment costs. Staggering
Um,
figure.
that's an insane figure. So I guess you touched a little bit on it, how you're wanting to do more talks. Is that where you kind of see this work going, or have you got any like other projects, I guess, in the pipeline? Or guess it'd be
Yeah,
nice to know what you see as what you want to do with this type of area of work.
sure. So I think for me, yeah, the talks absolutely. I think I've been asked by a few schools and things to go in and run some nature stuff for kids, and it's nature around mental health, but not so deep down mental health. So the kids, I think it's something like if you get a kid into nature before the age of 12, they will carry that through for the rest of their lives. Um, so kids with a nice exposure to nature and the natural world will then have those tools later down the life. So if I can then go into schools and start teaching about nature and how that makes you feel that much better and things like that, and you do it for that kind of that age group, they're so receptive. I love working with kids on this sort of thing. It's just absolutely, even young people, um, on nature particularly, they're so receptive, and it's just brilliant. And we need to encourage people to be back into nature. We it's Nature deficit disorder is a real thing. We've been moving our kids away from nature for many years, and I think it's time to put that back into the curriculum. I know Mary Colwell's been working so hard to get a natural history GCSE, and I know I've screamed and shouted about it when she was trying to get that over the line. And the real difference is doing things with Westminster and things like that. So yeah, I think for me, a lot of walks and talks, more work with school, more advocacy work with people. Um, that can only be a positive thing. The more we break down stigma and things, the better.
Amazing. You've shared so many, interesting stories and points. I think, I know I don't feel that there's probably so many more things to think about and look into. But I guess maybe as like one final question, do you have any, I guess, like final takeaways you want to leave people with, or like final points, and then also where can they follow all of the incredible work that you're doing?
Um, so, final point for me is just my mantra over and over again: be kind, watch birds. I think that's the ultimate takeaway from this: is just be kind, uh, and use nature as the restorative, incredible healing power that it is. And thank you for the kind words about my work. I really do appreciate that. Everything that I do is under James Cutting Nature. So my website, my Instagram, my TikTok, all of those sort of things. It's all just James Cutting Nature, all one word.
Amazing. And yeah, thank you again for like speaking today. It's been such an incredible conversation, and so much to take away.
Thank you very much indeed
Um,
for having me. It's been an absolute privilege. Thank you.